Chick, live from the ground. Let's talk. Yesterday, a few days ago, actually, I was in the diner and I was minding my business, getting me some coffee and some eggs. And this man came up to me and he said, "Oh," I said, "Hello." And we started talking. It's like, "Oh, your breakfast?" I'm like, "Yeah." And it's like, "Can I have breakfast with me?" I'm like, "I'm having breakfast already, so." But you're in this diner, you can have breakfast. What can I say? I was like, "Yes, you can." So we started talking because, yes, I do talk to randoms. As my daughter said, "Mommy, you're always talking to randoms." I'm like, yeah. I've met some nice people talking to randoms. I've met some nuts also, but I think it's okay. People say hello to speak, and to start to talk. And we're not getting married, we're not going off to the French Riviera. I got to figure out where that is, by the way. Anyway, I'm en route to doing what I do. You know how that goes. Probably me, this lady, and the other people on the road, the only ones up. Like fools right now on a Saturday, a nice fall Saturday. But anyway, I have breakfast, wound up having breakfast with him, and it was not a date because I guess, I don't know, he paid for the breakfast, that's all that was. He and I were talking, and I gave him my number, and then we had spoken on the phone. He texted me to say, "Hi, are you available to speak?" And I was like, "Yes." So, and some of the times I said no, right? And anyway, my preference in communicating these days is by phone. Texting is an awesome method of communication, but it's gotten to the point where people don't know how to communicate unless they are texting, and they could hide behind a text. So with that being said, I always let people know that if you want to reach me, you should call me, and if I don't answer, leave a message and I will call you back. I'll hit you back, I'll get back to you, and if you don't, that's fine too. Sometimes you see the number and then you know that the person is trying to reach you, and you call them back. But all this texting all day long, not gonna happen. So that's not what this is about. So in any way, I say, I told him yesterday, I had to be in the office on Thursday. And I said, he said good morning, and I said good morning. And he said, what are you doing? I said, I'm getting ready for work. I will speak with you later on in the day. And he said, okay. So at 9:35, he texted me, "I'll be having a great day." I said, nothing. Then at 1:35, he texts me and says, "Hello, are you there?" And I say, nothing. And then he calls me at about 2:35. I don't answer. And then he texts me again around 3-something. And I said, "I am in my office. I am working. I will talk with you when I'm free." And he says, "Okay, I'll be waiting." So I didn't get free until after I came from the gym around 6:30 that evening. But in the interim, he texted me again. Now, I didn't make myself clear by saying, I did make myself clear actually, but I used to call this grooming or training I say training, and actually it's training, grooming, same thing, right? And that is when you, in my opinion, my definition, well, what it is grooming. You're getting someone used to how you want them to do, or how you're training them up the way you want them to go. How about that? Now, if I tell you I will reach out to you once I am finished, when I get an opportunity, then I believe that you should wait and don't keep reaching out to me, because that's going to indicate that you're an impatient person. I don't do that. I made sure I told him I move very slowly. I do. Not so slow where I don't get things done, but I do contemplate my movements and my actions. And one of the problems with that is sometimes I stay too long in a place. So for me now, I'm trying to balance that. I'm trying to balance slow movement, because I believe that slow and steady wins the race, while acting stealthily enough not to become stagnant in whatever it is I'm taking my time on. A lot of times we make rash decisions by jumping into something. Relationships, purchases, anything, right? So I made sure I let them know I move very slow. So I am not her who's going to be love bombed. I am not her who, oh my God, I met you and you are the best and let's get married in 3 hours. I'm not her. I have a friend whose daughter met a guy and married him in 19 days. I thought that was whoa. I said, where were you? She said, she's very private about her stuff. And I was like, wow. And some other things were going on, but I was floored. Like, I can't imagine me doing that, but I'm not her. And I can't imagine being love-starved. If that was it, I don't know. And I can't imagine being comfortable enough to, please, you're lucky if I have sex with you in 19 days. Forget about marrying you. You know, because once I'm married, I have to have sex with you in 19 days. And I met you online at the supermarket or wherever, right? And so I don't know you. And so I don't know your people, any of that. And I don't know you. So I was floored that she did it. And like I said, there were other things in place. I'm not revealing someone's business. However, she was planning to get married anyway to someone else, and that person called it off. So she wants to be getting married anyway, but to someone else on the same day. So that was a little bit, I don't think it was a great decision. It wasn't very wise, because we need to vet people. We need to vet everything. So doctors, lawyers, Indian chiefs. So anyway, that didn't turn out well, but I digress. So I said, I would do that. So I did speak with him yesterday. We were doing phone tag or something, and had a lot going on yesterday. It was a one day, 11/11/22. Imagine that. All the division right in. And so I got accomplished a lot, including calming down someone, because we had to do this. We had to do this diversity training / training on what's sexual harassment, what's not, whatever, and online for my office, and one of the questions, like some of the questions they're asking is, what is a hostile work environment? I've been in labor and employment for a long time, so I already knew, but things get updated with all these other things being accommodated. But a hostile work environment, I told another person in my office, I was like, listen, this is a hostile work environment, but it doesn't include sex. So I don't know if that's good or bad. So she started laughing. She said, indeed it is. This is a hostile work environment. So it becomes hostile. So, and I told someone else, and they also laughed. We laughed about it because this person sounds hostile. Like, could you leave us alone? Okay. So anyway, I was able to calm, give him some reassurance on something. It was like, he's like, call me now. I'm like, okay, here we go. So I call him. I was like, he asked me about this thing, and I said, no, I verified this person's information because it was different at 2 different places, and I didn't want us to be embarrassed. It's like, thank good looking out. I'm like, you're welcome. So hung up. That was it. And I covered him, but look, yes, this is a hostile work environment. It definitely does not include sex, but it's hostile. So anywho, so I had a real interesting day, and I'm just coming back from Central America. I was telling people I was in South America, and I'm in Central America, and I'm still in chill mode, like hardcore. I don't know. I'm hoping this is going to be my regular going forward, but my baby girl came by with a girlfriend. They came by last night. She gave me a coffee press as a peace offering. I took it, of course, and we talked, and I messed with them. And the whole time they're there, this man is texting me and calling me. And the first time I said, you know what, we were playing phone tag. I said, I'll get back to you when I'm free. And he said, okay, I'll be waiting. And I know he's at work. He said he's at work. And so from that point forward, he continues to call and text. I don't answer. And then my daughter said, Mommy, this person's calling. And I was like, I know. She's like, okay. So finally, I happen to walk past my phone because I make the mistake when I'm home, and I don't know if it's a mistake per se, of not putting my phone on me unless I'm going in the basement. If I go in the basement of my house, I always bring the phone because there is a phone down there, but my nest is empty, so if you fall and you can't get up, whatever. And so, and it's a good tool. My friend Ella, Matushev, she said, Dana, when you're home in the house by yourself, you make sure you bring your phone in the basement. You could fall down. It's like, you know what, you're right. You know, when we were younger, we didn't think about that. I don't think our parents didn't have that. They didn't have a cell phone or something. So if they were to fall down in the house, they could ask for help. You know, and then they invented that tag. I'm falling, I can't get up, that kind of thing. So we went to they were talking and doing something. I don't know what they were doing upstairs. I don't know. And I was doing some stuff, and it's a lot of work when you're exchanging out appliances, because when I returned from Central America, I discovered my refrigerator was not staying cold or something, so I wound up buying one and arranging for that and waiting for delivery and all this other stuff. So all that was going on yesterday. And so, and I'm working. And so I had a full day, and then these two come over, and she starts telling me about her workplace. That's another video. And I was tired. And finally, I walked past the phone. I walked past the phone, and he says, hello, are you there? And I text him back, because I hadn't seen that text. And at first I was going to get angry, but I haven't been angry in about 3 weeks, so I'm just going to stay in this mode. And so I said, how do I answer this, or do I not answer this, right? And I did answer it, because I always believe, and I feel that in this house we believe, okay, I'm looking outside, someone's door. And I said, let's be clear. My daughters are and will always be my first priority. I will get back to you when I am free. That is what I said. And he said it did like an okay hand. And the message before that was, will I be able to hear your lovely voice before you go to bed? And that's when I answered, let's be clear, my daughters are and will always be my first priority. I will get back to you when I'm free. I am not stopping to talk to you, with you, when my daughters are in the house and I'm talking to them. I'm not stopping to do that. I'm not stopping what I'm doing. And it's not anything having to do with you. It's just I'm not. You wait your turn. You're not going to bum rush me. You're not going to love bomb me. And you're not going to be clingy, none of that, because I am not her. And in a week, I'm finding out that may be your MO. You know, there's something wrong, quote unquote, with everybody. There's a reason why many folks, including myself, are probably not coupled off or with someone, or people that are and not successful. I don't know. And one of the reasons I know for me, I can be accused of being nonchalant about a lot of things that may be important to many people. And it's not that I don't care, or I'm very aloof. I can be super aloof. Someone's like, my friend Robin was like, oh my God, COVID, and her daughter had COVID. Did she have COVID? No, her daughter had, what do you call it when you're pregnant and you're diabetic and they have to do baby? This baby's big or something. Oh shoot. Somebody's wondering them on. And she called me, she was hysterical. She was hysterical. But she's got to go in the hospital and it's COVID and nobody wants to die of COVID, and she was carrying on with COVID, and I was like, Robin, calm down. I said, nobody wants to die of anything. You don't want to die on this Main Street side. Because the Main Street sign fell on you. Doesn't matter if you died of COVID or that you died of this thing. It matters that you died and you want to live, right? Oh, you're too calm about it. Yeah, I am. Because there's a lot of things we can't control, but it was, I said to her, and I don't think it helped. I don't know, I asked her, but I said to her, remember when AIDS was out in the 80s, when it first came out, and people were, the stigma attached to dying of AIDS? And she was like, yeah. I was like, remember people were scared of AIDS? They were scared to touch you. And they didn't tell us to wear masks back then. And they didn't tell you to not eat out, and they didn't tell you not to leave the house. And I said, people were losing their minds because they did not want to die of AIDS, or they did not want to be known to be around gays, or blood transfusion. People had blood transfusions, or, you know, it was hospital workers that want to help people. Scared. And then people, I don't know, died of AIDS, or if someone in your family, it happened to us, died of AIDS, they were all quiet. They didn't tell nobody. I'm like, y'all didn't call anybody and tell them they died? No, anybody called the people? Who called the people? No, you were free. It wasn't, he actually, my uncle had AIDS and he passed away incarcerated. And what it was is that he was in a halfway house ready to be released, but he had full-blown AIDS. And and back then, if you were in a halfway house ready to be released, then you had to have somewhere to go. If you don't have an address, they don't let you out. So he have an address because no one would let him know, live in their house, you know, who he's still in custody. And our grandparents were alive then. I remember I had an apartment, and I was like, well, why can't he just use my address? If I'm not mistaken, but don't quote me. It's a side note, another conversation. But it was a mess. So he winds up dying in jail, and they call you and say, oh, this person's doing bad, you gotta come. And the truth is, they had already expired. They don't tell you on the phone. They do tell you on the phone, so I don't know about them. But the place was really far in South Jersey, like really, really far. Anyway, I'm gonna do a video about that. There was, yes, and the stigma attached to dying of AIDS, or even having AIDS. Forget about dying of it, having it was worse. And from what I'm hearing of someone who is in the gay community, he said there were a lot of people that died alone in these hospitals. And they weren't in the gay community, I'm sorry. They worked in hospitals, and a lot of these young men died alone in the hospitals when they had AIDS, because their families would not come see about them for the stigma. So then she's screaming about the stigma of COVID, and I was telling her to calm down, all right? And so she accused me of being too laid back and not caring about it, and that's really not the truth. I can be pretty aloof, almost nonchalant, and it's not a personal thing, but it has to do with my personality. Like, I don't get myself crazy. I don't. And you may think, oh my God, the world's gonna end. I'll be like, yeah, it will. It'll probably shake us off before this earth. And so, you know, that's one of the things I've been told. I'm kind of non-emotional. I don't know if it's a Capricorn thing or not, but we don't be getting all crazy with stuff. Like, we don't. And it sounds like you don't look like you don't care, you're being mean. No. We're not the most emotional people. That's not one of our outwardly emotional people. That's not one of our traits. It just isn't. And so